Hey, so a friend of mine sent me a video yesterday. It was Rhett Scholl that talked about modes and how he learned them wrong at music college. Well, I think Rhett went to Atlanta Institute of Music, and this friend that sent me the video went to Atlanta Institute of Music, and I taught at Atlanta Institute of Music, and so I was interested in watching it and seeing what that was about. So I started watching it, and it dawned on me that there was definitely another way to look at it, and it's a way that I look at it, and I'm always trying to simplify things. So I think between his video and my video, it'll probably resonate with people, and they'll be able to simplify the concept of how to use modes. And I even have a cool little trick at the end where I talk about fretboard visualization, and I have this trick. It's this shape where you can get the 145 and the 236 super easy. So check this out, and I'll go over it right here. People are familiar with the circle of fifths, and in the key of C, the circle goes for every fifth, and it jumps 5 to 5 to 5. And you can move clockwise and jump fifths. And if you go counterclockwise, you will jump fourths, which are dominant and subdominants, respectively. And the major scale in the key of C, for instance, will be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C is the octave at the end. And with this scale, if you jump every other interval, you're jumping thirds. And when you do that, you are making the diatonic chords by jumping thirds. In this example, the top row is C, E, and G to make the C chord, and also F, A, and C. In the bottom row, you will see that I have jumped D, F, A, and E, G, B to make the minor chords. And this keeps going so on and so forth. The key of C shows us these intervals are otherwise noted as a whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. This is how every major scale is constructed using these step intervals. So to recap, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half is the sequence for major scale construction in any key, and the intervals when skipped or jumped make every diatonic chord in Western music: the 1 that's major, the 2 and 3 that are minor, the 4 and 5 that are major, and the 6 and 7. Now, what if we take that actual sequence, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, and go backwards off of C, just to demonstrate if we're going in this line, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, that's going to be diatonic harmony. I picked the key of C because there's no sharps, no flats. Now, this concept is going to introduce chromatic harmony using the step sequence of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So going backwards off of C, we're going a whole step to B flat, a whole step to A flat, a half step to G, a whole step to F, a whole step to E flat, and a whole step to D flat, and we'll end on C again. And this is the sequence to the modes in the key of C, demonstrating chromatic harmony. Again, there's diatonic harmony, no sharps, no flats, but the chromatic harmony introduces sharps and flats. So, in this sequence, we see C is Ionian, but if we go back a whole step, that is the Dorian sound. So that will be C Dorian, which is just B flat major. The next step will be C Phrygian, which is just A flat major. The next one, G Lydian. That's C Lydian, but that's G major. And then C Mixolydian is basically F major. And E flat major is the same as C Aeolian. And D flat major is the exact same thing as C Locrian. So basically, as I'm going down the step sequence, C to B flat to A flat to G, F, E flat, D flat, I am just playing the major scales off those roots. The C major scale, B flat major, A flat major, G major, F major, E flat major, D flat major. And that is the chromatic modes. So just like going in one direction on the circle of fifths gives you the dominants, and going the other direction gives you the subdominants, going through the scale sequence that we determined was whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, to the right will give you chords and diatonic harmony. But if you go to the left, it'll give you chromatic harmony. It's that easy. If you know the major scale, and you can do it in all 12 keys, you'll know all the modes. Let's hear this in action. First, I'm going to start with diatonic harmony. I'll play a C major chord, and then I'll just run through the modes. Now you're going to hear C Ionian, D Dorian, E Phrygian, F Lydian, G Mixolydian, A minor, and B Locrian. This sound introduces no unique notes. Nothing leaves this tonal center. Nothing is outside of the scale using diatonic harmony. It's just basically an idea of the starting off point of the melody. So there's no surprise notes. Now, let's demonstrate our sequence and hearing that with chromatic harmony, and hear C, but going through the modes in chromatic harmony to where C is the root, and we're shuffling through the modes using C as the root. This is a tool to give you a very fast way to expand your palette and shore up your knowledge. There's also a thing I like to use for visualization that works on the 6th string and 5th string, and it also works on the 5th string and 4th string together. That's what I call the Tetris wrench. Think of it like an L shape laying on its back. And that will give you the 1, 4, 5. When you invert this shape and flip it, think of it like a person on the ground doing a plank. When you flip that shape, going up a whole step, that will give you the 2, 3, and 6. So the L shape will be C, F, G, and the plank shape will be D, E, and A. So you're getting the 1, 4, 5 and the 2, 3, 6. So if you're trying to transpose on the spot, somebody wants to do a song in a key that you're not familiar with, use the Tetris wrench. It works on all the wound strings of the guitar. I hope that helps for this crash course in music theory. This is what I call my speed track when I'm showing people not to be scared of harmony, modes, and some other tricks to figure out pieces of music quickly. I hope that helps. Please forward to anyone you think it may benefit. Cheers.